Morning decisions. How about a creamy mocha frappuccino drink? Or sweet vanilla? Smooth caramel maybe? Or a white chocolate mocha? Whichever you choose, delicious coffee awaits. Find Starbucks Frappuccino drinks wherever you buy your groceries.
I'm Jessica, and this is Daebak K-Rambles, where a couple of friends review Korean dramas. And for this episode, we're going to be reviewing When Life Gives You Tangerines with not one but two guests. I am so happy to have on Carol from the K-Drama Musings podcast and Lola from Lola Pops Off About K-Dramas. How are you guys?
Hello. Hi, we're good. How are you?
Good. I love to see your smiling faces. I have reviewed dramas with each of you individually, and I basically crossed the podcast streams this time, and I was like, hey, this is a kind of a big drama, and I wanted to get more voices in on it because I truly felt, and this is 100% the truth, I felt really inadequate to judge the show and come and talk about it, just me, myself, and I. I was like, I definitely need some more people in on this, and I'm so glad that you guys were happy to finish watching the show, number one, and then come prepared to talk intelligently about this show after it totally wrecked me. Last night, I'll tell you right now, last night I finished the show, and the entirety of the last episode, I was crying. From start to finish, and that never happens to me. From start to an hour and 20 minutes straight, I was crying. I'm surprised that I'm upright today. You know, I had things on the docket that I needed to do before this recording, and I was telling you, I'm really scatterbrained today, and probably the lack of sleep plus the fact that I was crying for an hour and a half before going to sleep did not help anything. Like, there was no aftercare, basically, after the show. But I am really thrilled that we're finally here. This has been highly requested, I will say, from me, from Daebak. People are like, I can't wait for you to comment on When Life Gives You Tangerines. And I'm like, oh God, why? I feel so inadequate to do that. But we're going to try. We're going to try our best today. If you guys want to maybe introduce yourselves by saying what you've been watching lately, maybe just one drama that you would recommend to people based on, you know, your current watch list.
Ooh, okay, I'll go first. I am currently watching Made in Korea. I'm rewatching it. Girl, I'm stuck there. So I do encourage everyone to watch it. It's really well done, and I love it. I'm waiting for season 2. Yeah.
Yeah, Made in Korea. I was just talking with you on your podcast about Made in Korea. We did a review. And Carol, are you okay? Because I don't know. How many times have you watched it at this point, Made in Korea?
Probably 7.
Wow.
Carol.
I know.
Oh my God.
But it's cinematic.
It's good.
It's fantastic.
I agree. So Made in Korea, highly recommended. But for me and Carol, because I've just watched it this week, and it's very good. Lola,
thank you.
What do you got?
I'm going to go kind of left. I actually really have been enjoying a drama called To My Beloved Thief.
Oh.
It's the Segu with Nam Ji-hyun and Moon Sang-min. And I don't know. It's just everything I like in a drama. It has like a body switching aspect or element to it. Great chemistry from leads. The, Seguk, of course, palace and all of that. A prince who can't be a prince, that kind of thing. So I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. It's pretty, simple. I think you've seen it before, in other forms.
Yeah.
But I really am enjoying it. I'm really enjoying the performances, I think, the most, for sure.
Okay.
I'm a simple gal, and so I think that's why I really got a kick out of it. I have another great K-drama friend who actually was not in love with it, wasn't thrilled with it. So I know that it's not everyone's cup of tea by far. So I'm not gonna say you need to run out and watch it.
Oh man.
Yeah, see, Carol.
That's Carol.
Yeah, see, I've heard it already. I've heard it from folks already, but I am such a little fan of this drama. I don't know. I'm so simple. But Made in Korea, I also enjoyed. So I mean, I go back and forth, but yeah, I do like To My Beloved Thief.
All right. Okay. Well, so the two shows are To My Beloved Thief and Made in Korea. Thank you guys for sharing some recommendations to the listeners. And before we get started on When Life Gives You Tangerines, if this is your first time listening, go ahead and subscribe on your favorite podcast app. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and many more. And if you like us, please give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. You can check us out on social media to stay up to date on the latest episodes and reviews. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Daebak Pod, DAEBAKPOD. And lastly, if you're a fan, please consider becoming a patron. It is such a great way for you to get involved and show your support. You can check out the page on patreon.com/daebakpod. And shout out to my patrons, Curtis, Bale, Alana, Lorna, Sammy, Julia number 1, Caitlin, Tenmei, Marta, Delphia, Maria, Sarah, Pam, Julia number 2, Nadira, Matthew, Lauda, Christine, and KB. Thank you guys so much for supporting the show. All right, so this show, we're going to get started on the non-spoiler section and then move into the spoiler section. I want to just temper expectations because this is not going to be a recap podcast at all. We could easily spend 16 hours on this show and cover each and every episode and talk about all of the finer details. And I don't think we're going to have the space to do that. This is going to be the entirety of the show. A lot to cover, and we're going to be a little more intentional and surgical about this review, okay? So, with that being said, the Wikipedia synopsis of this show is: the drama follows the adventurous life and many trials of Esun, a poor girl wanting to become a poet who was born in Jeju in 1951, and Gwan-sik, a young man who cherishes and loves her. The drama is narrated by their daughter Yang Gum-young. It aired in March 2025, so happy birthday. When Life Gives You Tangerines. It's basically a year old. And I think it was told in 4 parts, 4 acts, 4 episodes a week for 4 weeks, as I think what happened here. Correct me if I'm wrong.
You know, you're absolutely right. It was 4 parts.
Okay.
They broke it up. You're right.
16 episodes long and directed by Kim Won-suk. Kim Won-suk has directed a ton of things. He's a really great, prolific director, directing things like Cinderella Sister, Seongkyung-kwan, Scandal, Monstar from 2013, Misang, Incomplete Life, which won him Best Director, and the entire show won the Taesang at the Baeksang Awards for that year. He's directed Signal from 2016, that won the Best Drama Award at the Baeksang Awards that year, directed My Mister and Arthdal Chronicles from 2019. I don't have a lot of good things to say about Arthdal Chronicles, but it was a lot of spectacle, was very high budget. There are episodes up for My Mister and Signal. Have you guys seen this director's work before?
Surprisingly, I think I've seen all his work. I don't know why I hadn't seen When Life Gives You Tangerines. But yeah, I like his work, especially Seongkyung-kwan Scandal. Like, that's my go-to comfort, one of my go-to comfort dramas.
Yeah, it's really good. Lola, you're nodding your head. You're like, absolutely.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. I missed that drama. I feel like I haven't watched it in such a long time, and it's due a rewatch. But I also have seen everything, I believe, except The Partner. I don't know why that's not ringing a bell to me. I'm like, well, I don't know about that one. But I've seen the ones that you've listed, yes. And Monstar.
I've never seen Monstar, but I know about Monstar.
Yeah, I've actually loved the drama when it was airing. However, it's shrouded with controversy based off of the people that were in it. So I don't ever talk about it for that reason. But I really, really enjoyed it at its airing.
It's turned into a hot potato.
Exactly.
When Life Gives You Tangerines was written by Im Sang-tun, who has written just a few dramas, including Becky's Back from 2016, Fight for My Way from 2017, which I guested on a review of Fight for My Way on the Swoon Diaries podcast, if you want to listen to that. And this writer has written When the Camellia Blooms from 2019, that won Best Screenplay at the Baeksang Awards. These are highly decorated, director and writer. There is a review up on the Daebak feed for When the Camellia Blooms. Have you guys seen this screenwriter's dramas?
I haven't seen Becky's Back, but I have seen When the Camellia Blooms and Fight for My Way.
Did you like those two?
I did. I'm saying that with like a little. I feel like the bad person because I feel like Fight for My Way is like such a beloved drama, but it doesn't have my favorite trope in it. So that's why it's not my favorite.
Oh, okay.
So it's not so much that it wasn't good, but I don't like that trope of, friends for forever.
Yes. So for those who don't know and haven't listened to Lola Pops Off about K-dramas, Lola is not a big fan of friends to lovers.
At all.
Oh.
Yeah.
At all. Friends to love is like my least favorite trope. And exes to lovers again. I don't do well with those. So that's why I Find My Way. I'm not a big fan of it, not because like it wasn't good necessarily, but just I didn't like that trope. And then When the Camellia Blooms, I actually really enjoy. I'm a huge Kang Han-woo stan. Love him to the moon and back, and also Kang Hyuk-jin. So that's why I think I love that one.
Carol, what about you?
I have seen Fight for My Way, and that's the only one I've seen. I did not watch Camellia Blooms because I was like, that's not the vibe I'm in. I don't know about it, so I skipped it.
I mean, yeah, like if you're not, no one's going to force you to watch these shows. If it's not in your wheelhouse, if you're not in the mood, great, fine, do you, boo. So, When the Camellia Blooms.
You want to call it that so bad.
Oh my God, I want to call it that so bad. It's the freaking writer's fault because they wrote both. Anyway, When Life Gives You Tangerines stars IU as Oh Es-hun and her daughter Yang Gum-young. She's the female lead of this here show. And IU, I call her the fairy princess. In a lot of the reviews that I've done of her work, 5 movies and a handful of TV shows, starting with Dream High from 2011, which we have covered on the podcast. That was a painful rewatch for me. Moon Lovers, Scarlet Heart Rio from 2016, which is so beloved by a lot of people in the international fan community. I am not one of those people. There is also a deep dive on Moon Lovers on the podcast. She has worked with this director before. She was in My Mister in 2018, so this is kind of a reunion for them too. She starred in Hotel de Luna, and this year she's got a drama, Perfect Crown, is coming out very soon. How do you guys feel about IU?
I actually really enjoy IU. I love her music as much as I do her work, her acting work. So I would say I'm an actual big fan of IU. Mm-hmm. I'm looking at her drama list here that you have, and I'm like, the one that I remember, I don't know if anyone else feels this way, but The Producers.
I dropped The Producers.
I hate it. I'm not hate it. That's a strong word.
Yeah.
I could not. It was a hard watch for me.
So I'm right in dropping it.
For me, it was a hard watch. I don't know, but it was really hard.
Carol, do you want to jump in on your IU thoughts?
I like her. She's cool. I mean, I don't know. I did not like Hotel de Luna. Mm-hmm. That's my thing. Mm-hmm. I know. Lola's face just went, oh my God, how could you?
We're disappointing each other right off the rip.
I know. I'm like, Hotel de Luna. Okay, no, that's fine.
Well, Hotel de Luna is a Hong Sisters drama.
Is. So it's you can take or leave them sometimes. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I tend to leave them personally. But a lot of people really, they go to bat for the Hong Sisters and they love all those dramas. But Hotel de Luna was another drop for me.
See? I'm not the only one. I did like My Mister. I don't know. I had no intentions of watching When Life Gives You Tangerines. Mm-hmm. So it's because you said, let's do it on the podcast. I was like, okay, I guess I'll watch it. But Park Bo-gum and IU, I was just like, this is just too much for me. They're hit or miss for me sometimes. So I was like, I'm going to sit it out.
Well, since you mentioned him, her co-stars Park Bo-gum for about half of this drama. He plays young Gwan-sik. He's the male lead. He's been in a handful of movies, including Wonderland from 2024. People did not like that movie. I think the general consensus is, let's forget it ever happened. I have seen him in quite a few TV shows, including Record of Youth, Love in the Moonlight, Reply 1988. He is very beloved for his Reply 1988 role, Tech, from 2015, 2016. That season was a really good season for him. Have you seen him in shows before?
I have seen all his shows except the Good Boy. I haven't seen Good Boy because I don't really like boxing shows like that. So But I do like him. He performs well. I think why I struggle with him is I feel he's in his acting. It feels so sometimes robotic for me, sometimes depending on the role. But I feel a lot of pain in his eyes where it's just lonely. And so I watch him in variety shows and I'm seeing him open up more. And he comes across as really a sweet guy.
Mm-hmm.
But I was just like, I need so much healing for you.
Yeah, so I'll step in for a second. Park Bo-gum, I don't think he's necessarily everyone's cup of acting tea. He is beautiful, beautiful man. Love him down. But
Beautiful.
yeah, beautiful. What a hottie. He is not everyone's cup of tea when it comes to acting. He's very understated. But
yeah.
I think he excels in the film medium because you can zoom in on his very soulful well of emotion eyes. And I think that works very well. He seems to have an old soul. In some of his best works, it plays on that he doesn't seem young.
Mm-hmm.
I see you nodding your head, Lola. Do you want to jump in, talk about your thoughts on Park Bo-gum?
I completely agree with Carol and your kind of explanation of how he comes off outside of acting. I completely agree where there's I don't want to say darkness. That sounds really harsh, but like, I guess sadness is a little bit softer, but there is something that I feel like the way he presents how sweet and kind of good guy that he presents, it does seem like that's him trying his best. Like I feel like that's his acting in a weird way. Not because he's not a good guy, but because he genuinely, like you said, he's healing from something, or he has experienced a lot in his past, I feel like. And he feels like he's putting that out. I'm okay. Everything's okay. Life is fine, and that's what we get when he's just kind of, out and about. But to me, I think one of my favorite roles of his was actually Hello Monster. Where he was like at his one of the darkest. I feel like he was pretty dark in there, and I feel like that really was a sweet spot for him as far as like his acting portrayal. So him being like the really sweet good guy, kind of like he is in When Life Gives You Tangerines, I do feel like that matches his appearance, but I don't know if that's like where he shines as far as his acting performances go.
Okay.
Remember that scene in Record of Youth where he was it was like a show within a show.
No,
yes.
Yes.
And you get his eyes go like so, I don't know how to express it, but dark.
Dark. There's something dark. Yeah, yes.
And I was just like, oh my God. Yes.
It's good. Yes, it's good. Yes. I completely agree.
I need him to do more roles like Dio. I feel like if he did more roles like Dio,
he would be perfect. He would be perfect.
Wow. I didn't even think. Yeah, they're definitely competition for certain roles, I'm sure. And maybe in a sense they would want each other's career.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
I could totally see that.
So to round out the cast, there's a huge, massive cast, but I'm only going to give you two more names. Moon So-ri plays Aeson when she is middle-aged. She is basically IU's character grown up. She's been in 34 movies. She's definitely a film actress, more than a television actress, but you might have seen her in Hellbound 2 from 2024, Tongyeon, The Star is Born, also from 2024, Queenmaker, School Nurse Files, Life, Legend of Blue Sea. That's just a handful of her 13 TV shows. Have you seen this actress before?
I have, and I love her so much, and I need everyone to watch The Legend, her first K-drama in 2007.
Yeah, 07.
Amazing.
As soon as you give these early aughts years, we start to lose people. I can hear people shutting down as we speak. I have spoken to too many people in the last several months that just refuse to watch things that are a little older. Yeah. But she has a drama from 2007. Give it a watch. Have you watched some of her work, Lola?
I have, and I also think she's absolutely stellar. I think she's amazing. I loved Jonghyun, The Star is Born. So I mean, love that drama so much. So I love her. and she was great in there. She played as almost a similar role, like the mother figure, the kind of same, I think, time period, everything, so I like her in that role, in that type of role for sure.
Mm-hmm. Park Bo-gum's older, middle-aged actor is Park Hae-joon, plays the same Gwan-sik character. He's been in 24 movies, 18 TV shows. Some of the movies include 12/12 The Day, 20th Century Girl, he's the school nurse, Emergency Declaration. He was in Broker from 2022 alongside IU, The Eighth Night Startup, Tune In for Love from 2019. Like a ton of movies. And then for TV shows, you might have seen him most recently. He's had a really good couple of years here, but Tempest, last year, the Disney Plus show.
Yeah.
Emma, also from last year, 2022, Love Take Two, The 8 Show. He's worked with the director before. He's a frequent collaborator. Arthdal Chronicles, he's Moopek. And I'll tell you right now, when I saw the name Moopek, my eye started twitching. Like I was like, oh my God, too much. Too much on Arthdal. His most famous K-drama has to be The World of the Married from 2020, which I have tossed around the idea of covering on the show because I've never seen The World of the Married. But It's a little difficult to find, I guess, on streaming platforms. So it's always barred me covering it. Have you seen this actor before? Do you like him in any of these other works that he's been in?
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile with a message for everyone paying big wireless way too much. Please, for the love of everything good in this world, stop. With Mint, you can get premium wireless for just $15 a month. Of course, if you enjoy overpaying, no judgments, but that's weird. Okay, one judgment. Anyway, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only. Then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
I do enjoy him, and I was gonna bring up Moopek because I'm not gonna say I liked Arthdal Chronicles, the first one, but the second one,
okay, I heard this too.
Weirdly was better for me, so I enjoyed him as Moopek. So just to throw that out there, that I think if you could get through the second one, you would enjoy him a little bit better in his Moopek performance. But I definitely love him. He's been Minsang. He's been in My Mister. The World of the Married. I think he's great. I think he's amazing. I mean, in this drama too, he broke my heart.
Carol?
I agree with you, Lola. I like him in everything. I especially liked him in The World of the Married. That is grown ass. Sorry. That's a grown show.
It's grown.
It was, his performance drove me mad. I loved it so much. And I remember him feeling like so bad after the show where he's telling people, it's the character, it's not me.
Yeah.
Dang. Yeah.
So
I can see
like
that
him.
happening. Yikes. All right. There are a ton of people, like I said, in this cast. We cannot go over everybody, but I will just put a spotlight on those 4. I am going to turn it over to you guys, and just whoever wants to go first, tell me, what did you think of When Life Gives You Tangerines? This has been touted as the top, if not in the top, K-dramas of 2025, and maybe even in the last 5 years. So I would love to know, does it hold water?
I think it holds water. Like I said, it wasn't on my list. And when I did watch it, I watched it over the last 3 days. And it was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. I get why people say it was their top drama for 2025. The performances were great. The story is what really stuck with me. I bawled my eyes out, and I was just reflecting on myself and my childhood and my mom, and immediately, like, I hadn't even finished episode 16, and I started calling my moms, because for me, I had 5 moms in total. You know those aunties, the Henya aunties? I had moms like that. So I called each of them like in the middle of episode 16. I'm like, thank you so much for taking care of me.
Yeah.
I love you so much. I'm sorry I haven't been in touch. And yeah, I was bawling my eyes out. And they were each like, what the hell are you doing? Why are you crying? Stop. The show means a lot to me. Yeah.
Means a lot to you. Okay.
I will say that I agree that it holds water for sure. For me, I started watching this when it finished airing in 2025, and I couldn't finish it. I got to episode 6 a year ago,
I got you.
and literally stopped. I was devastated. I could not continue watching it. And I kept telling my actual podcast, I kept telling like, oh, I'm going to be back. I'm going to talk about it one day. It's so moving. It's so beautiful. It's some of the best writing that I've watched in a long time. I got to review this, but I could not bring myself to go back to that drama until you messaged me and said, hey, what do you think about reviewing Life Gives You Tangerines?
Yeah.
I was so scared of this drama. That's because I feel like how you mentioned earlier that you cried from the very beginning to the very end of that episode. I cried in every single episode. From episode 1 to episode 16,
Wow.
I cried. And I even wrote this. I was writing my notes, and one of the things I kept noticing when I was looking over my notes is that I noted when I was crying without knowing I was crying. Like I did a lot of silent tear just streaming down my face crying throughout the drama. So that's what I mean. It's like it wrecked me. It wrecked me. I was like, I don't know. How am I going to talk about this drama? I kept saying that to myself. And I would tell my sister, I was like, I don't know if I could do this episode because I don't want to cry. Yeah, it totally wrecked me. And I think for me, the reason why is because it's just a wonderful story about life. And to me, those are the hardest stories to watch, when it's just like, we're just talking about how life beats you up and yet you move on to the next day still. And I struggled just watching them get beat up. But then at the same time, it was so beautiful. And I just really enjoyed the writing. My own background being a literary girl, as they call her, I'm very connected to that element to the story. But also like Carol, I could not stop thinking about my parents throughout the entire thing. All I wanted to do was just, call them, see them, make sure they know I love them. Like that is what that drama definitely did for me.
I didn't cry till Esun lost her child. Prior to that, I was just very pissed off at Esun. I could not, her as a kid, I remember sending Jess a voice note saying, this girl needs to regulate her emotions. I cannot stand. It made me want to drop the drama because I was just like, I can't do this. And Jess was like, just keep going. I get it, but just keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going.
And you're glad you did, Carol.
And I'm glad I did. Yes.
I almost don't even know where to start on this show. I had very, very low expectations of it. I can start there. Is that I thought everybody is hyping this show and for what? It's not going to be that good. And again, if you listen to a lot of the end of the year 2025 stuff that I guested on, I am not going to sit here and say, even with the inclusion of having watched When Life Gives You Tangerines, 2025 was a great release year for K-dramas. I can't even say that. I'm just like, yeah, it makes it passable. This show, I think I struggled with it maybe a little bit more than you two because I am so picky about my slice of life shows. I'm someone that does not like Reply 1988. It doesn't really work as well for me as it does for others. I think the magic sauce in those shows and in this show as well is knowing a lot of the history of Korea and the pop culture references that pop up consistently throughout the show, appreciating the changing of technology and the improvements, the industrialization of Korea. All of these things really help your appreciation of the show. That being said, I think I like this better than Reply 1988.
Okay.
And the similar thing that happened to me with Reply 1988 happened to me with this show was that I was watching the show. I was fine. I'm pretty strong. I don't cry very easily. And then the last episode rolls around and I'm a puddle. I'm toe up from the flow up. For some reason, both Reply 1988 and When Life Gives You Tangerines, I was a mess. Could not hold back my tears for the finale episode. When Life Gives You Tangerines is, like you said, a lot about parents and children and that sometimes very frustrating dynamic and the mountains and valleys of life. And I feel that if I watch the show at different stages of my life, I would appreciate different things about it and glean different things about it. It might hit a little different. Where I am in my life, I feel like I kind of get the best of both worlds, where I really empathize with a lot of the younger characters and understood where they were coming from, but also I'm firmly also on the parent side.
Yeah.
Firmly for a lot of the show. I felt like I was waiting for the family to catch a break the entire show.
Exactly.
This isn't necessarily the fairy tale kind of setup for K-dramas where you expect an overt happy ending, where you expect a clean resolution to a lot of the conflicts, and it doesn't go for the easy ending. It is very bittersweet, and I almost felt like I was treading water the whole show, just kind of waiting for something big to happen. And like I said, the finale episode, I was hit by a bus. Like, I cried straight for over an hour. It opened the floodgates. I will say it is a very, very beautiful show. 100% recommend it. I understand why people love it. And in the same fashion, I'm almost trying to keep arm's distance from it because I do feel like it might be overhyped. I don't feel like the cinematography was amazing.
I agree.
I agree.
I completely agree.
Was left completely wanting there.
Same.
Yeah. I'm like, this looks like a lot of this was CGI on a blue screen.
Yeah.
And so the craft of storytelling is the thing of it, and not necessarily some of the other pieces that could make this live on in my estimations. I almost want to forget it after we talk about it. A lot of it has to do with, I think it's very good, not great. I also think it's amazing. And I don't want to reopen these wounds.
Completely understand that.
Does that make any sense?
Complete sense to me.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Complete sense. I feel the exact same way as far as like, I will never watch this again. I have no desire to ever watch this again. I don't think I'll ever rewatch a scene or two, an episode here, there. I have no desire whatsoever. Yeah. And I want to kind of explain myself for being a crybaby as far as me crying throughout the whole drama. This is just a little tidbit about me. I am a sucker for a mother character. So this entire drama is about mothers. Okay. So I struggled with that from the very first episode with, A-sun's and her mother dynamic, all of that. So I was legitimately crying every episode because it's just the structure of what a mother is and what mothers deal with. So I feel like that was what I was crying about throughout the entire drama. But yeah, I completely agree with you that keeping it at arm's distance, not having any desire to revisit this again after talking about it, feeling like you want to say your piece about it and be like, okay, when life gives you tangerines, it's done forever.
I liked it. Let's move on.
I hear you. I hear you. And I think for me, the crying was more so a deep sadness or a reaffirmation, if you will, of seeing my mom was just a girl. She was just a girl. And whatever lifetime I met her in, she was still just a girl, also thinking about her parents and the fact that Aesun's character at the end is still like mom. I was just like, ugh. It reminded me a lot of things that happened in my life. And I was just like, wow. I think what got me the most was anytime I use characters. So Aesun's daughter, anytime she lashed out and the words were so harsh to her parents, and it's because she's frustrated. Like when she said, I don't like being the first daughter, all this pressure is on me and stuff like that. I was like, ugh. But they're also feeling it too. And you see her crying, and that reminded me of my time when I was crying about saying something out of turn. So yeah, maybe I put myself in it too much, or trying to work through stuff that I had closed off.
I think this show is like Toy Story 3 levels of emotional manipulation, right? Like, it is totally intentionally trying to make you appreciate your parents and the generations that
Family.
came before you and how they
Yeah.
have struggled to help you rise. Yeah, I was thinking of my family history. It is like messing
Can't
with
help
the
it.
silt that's at the bottom of the river. And you're like, I thought
Yes.
this water was clear. And then all of a sudden the show comes along and it's
Yes.
like, oh no, we're going to mess this all up. We're going to really dredge it up.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
so I was
yeah,
thinking about my
agree.
family, thinking about my grandmother who, you know, there's a part in the show where the daughter is not allowed to ride a tricycle. And I remember learning to ride a bike. My dad was teaching me how to ride a bike. And my grandmother saying to me, I never learned how to ride a bike. I wasn't allowed to ride a bike. In Puerto Rico, people would talk if they saw me riding a bike by myself around town. And I'm like, what do you mean? It just didn't even compute to me. And so a
Yeah.
lot of this stuff that's generational
Generational.
is alive and well in a lot of people's memories.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is what makes the show special, is that it taps into. You don't even need to know Korean to know
No.
what they're talking about when it comes to that sort of relational, generational, backward thinking kind of stuff that has been worked through by your parents' generation or even by your generation.
Yeah. That's true.
And it's impressive. In that respect, it's really impressive to cross cultural lines like that very easily.
I agree.
So yeah, it made me super emotional. It made me want to call my mom just as much as it made you want to call all of your aunties and mom figures in your life. Again, if you get through the show and you're not a sobbing mess, please call me. I want to be what you're on, because I was very upset. I was so beside myself at 1:30 in the morning. I cried all my skincare off.
Yeah, it was rough.
It was rough. I don't want
It
to
was
deal with
rough.
it, but here we are. Like, I just want to like dig in deep and then cut out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Did you have a favorite era of the show? Because I saw some rumblings online saying I liked the show better when Aesun was played by IU, basically the younger years of this family and this character. And they kind of felt a little falling out, or they tapped out a bit when they cut to the future and Aesun is no longer played by IU. It's played by Moonsori. Did you guys feel any type of way?
One of the things that, if we were going to say a critique of mine, and it's not a real critique, I think it's just a personal preference maybe, I did not enjoy seeing IU play all the characters. Like, I did
I
not
got you.
enjoy that.
Yeah.
And so I think that's where I could see a little disconnect, where I enjoyed her when she was playing Aesun. I really enjoyed her there. But then when she, you know, switches and now she's playing Aesun's daughter, and something about that shifted for me. So it took me a little while after that shift and a couple episodes in to really get adjusted to her playing that role. And I think that might have been more of a, I don't know if that was an IU thing, if that was an acting thing, if that wasn't, the character wasn't spelled out enough for me on the page thing, but it did take me a little bit to get back into it and enjoy it. That's for sure.
The back and forth threw me off a little with going back into the past and then coming into the future, especially when Aesun's daughter is sort of experiencing parallel things as
I know.
the mom did in the past. And that threw me, it kept pulling me out of the story a little. I absolutely did not enjoy IU as Aesun until her son died. After her son died, I was just like, okay, I'm seeing something here. But before, I was just like, no, thank you. I didn't feel a thing, because I was just like, you got to regulate your emotions, girl. And I had to come to the realization that I'm being too harsh with that, because I think for myself, I'm always trying to regulate. So when I see someone not regulating, I get pissed off.
You're like, try harder.
Yeah.
I'll jump in and say IU does, how do I say this? IU in this show is the best version of IU in an acting sphere. Like this show, and same thing for Park Bo-gum, it's almost, they're too good to fail because it's playing to their strengths, I feel.
Yes.
And I personally really, really like IU when she is playing a morose, melancholic character, like she does in My Mister, like she does in the movie Broker. I think that is doing something different. This is a little bit more standard of a K-drama female lead. And it's not that she does a bad job, because there's peaks and valleys like we're going to get into. But I think what you're saying, Carol, is that when she goes through the valley, you locked in finally.
Yeah.
On her performance.
Yeah. But out of the two of them, Moonsori and IU, I definitely like Moonsori better.
I thought they were going to do, because it's always when shows and movies, whatever media do, the father is, or the mother is playing a character and then they're playing another character that very intentionally is supposed to remind the protagonist or whatever of the other parental figure. Like, take, for instance, Peter Pan. Traditionally, Captain Hook is played by the same actor that plays the father of the children, right? Like, that is saying something. That's talking about the intimidation they feel from their father and the way that he is antagonizing their childhood, right? By forcing them to grow up.
Yeah.
So I thought, oh, this is also trying to do something. I'm not sure if it was necessarily successful in doing something to that effect, because it's almost like you didn't need IU to play both roles.
That's what I'm saying. That took me out of it the most, I feel like. I completely agree with that. Like, I feel like IU playing both for me took away from me getting the opportunity to really learn our other character outside of Aesun. I feel like I was struggling I was having a hard time recognizing who she was outside of her being a mirror of her mother, you know, or like just like her mother, you know, like how Kara mentioned the moments where they like intentionally were showing, like she was saying verbatim something her mom said back in the past, you know, like it took me out of it as well. So I feel like if that was a different actor, that would have helped me a little bit better. I mean, like you said, I don't feel like it was necessary for her to do both of them. I just don't.
I agree. I was talking to you guys before we got started about Wuthering Heights, because there's a new adaptation in theaters. Don't go see it. It's so awful. But I was thinking about all the other adaptations that I've seen of Wuthering Heights. And in one adaptation, the one with Ray Fiennes, he plays Heathcliff. The same actress plays Kathy and then Kathy Jr., which, how confusing is that? But that's not necessary.
It's unnecessary.
That's not necessary to do that. I think that might be doing too much.
Yeah. And then when you...
Because they're not different enough.
Exactly.
I don't know.
That's true.
Like, you need that extra distance.
You do.
Yeah.
I can't even... I don't have the words to articulate why it's different than, like, Captain Hook and the dad and whatever.
I agree.
But... yeah, I kind of am left with more about it than a wow. That really made the show.
And the other part is, by the end, this story is about Aesun to me. So why is my screen flooded with IU?
And she's the only person who gets 2 roles.
I completely
Park Hae-joon does not get 2 roles.
I completely agree.
Exactly.
I completely agree.
So that also pissed me off a little bit.
It almost feels selfish to do that in such a... You have so many characters in this show. What is one more?
What is one more?
Yeah.
What is one more? Why can't you just introduce us to a new actor?
Yeah.
A new face? Because this would have been a wonderful vehicle to introduce a new actress to the world.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree.
Instead, we doubled up on IU. And it's like, we love IU. We know IU. Let's move on.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
I completely agree.
Okay. All right. So we are kind of opposite from some of the majority in that respect, because I think everyone loves IU and they would love to see more of her on their screens, and it probably worked just fine for them that she played 2 roles, the mother and the daughter. This series, like I said, was praised endlessly for its performances, screenplay, and direction. Who do you think was the weak link of the show?
Ooh.
Who was the weak link of the show?
Yeah.
As in...
acting-wise.
Weak
acting-wise.
I don't... A weak link as far as acting goes? Ooh.
Out of the main cast or the whole show?
Let's keep it to main cast.
Main cast? Oh, this is hard.
Kim Sun-ho?
Oh.
Because we didn't really see him.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think he like really brought anything.
Okay.
I don't know. Is it Kim Sun-ho? Here's why it's difficult to sort of determine. Because you mentioned Park Bo-gum and IU do really well in certain kinds of roles, and that's what we know them for. So is it a weak link, or is it just being in their zone? I'm not giving it to Moonsori.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Or maybe I would give it to the guy who had a crush on Aesun and his family.
That's what I was gonna say.
Left him in the end.
The guy that had a crush on Aesun. Oh.
You said
yes.
Youngbom?
Yes.
Yes.
Lee Ju-young?
Yeah.
I think I would go towards him.
I'm talking about the guy she was gonna marry.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes. Lee Jun-young plays Park Young-bom. I would say he is a weak link. I would argue that every time IU is doing the kind of thing, she's a weak link.
Yes.
I mean, and I'm being very harsh. Like, I'm pulling this out where people are probably never asking this question. Yeah, but I wouldn't give it to the older two actors.
No, not at all. Not at all.
I would say the male lead, so originally played by Park Bo-gum and then played by Park Hae-joon, this character felt the realest out of all the characters to me.
Yeah.
Just based on my own family history, my grandfather is basically this character, Gwan-sik.
Stop
Very
it.
sweet spirit, would worship the ground my grandmother walked on. They were married for 50 years. He got dementia, Alzheimer's in the end, and he was bedridden for 7 years, and he forgot all of us, forgot all of our names, never forgot her.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, never forgot her.
Yeah. So all of these odd jobs and the way that Gwan-sik would do anything to put food on the table and was fishing and stuff. My dad, he said this a couple of times in my life, but I've always remembered it. He's like, for the first few years of my life, up until maybe I was a teenager, I didn't realize we were poor.
I love that.
And I was like, what do you mean? He was like, because we always had food on the table. We always, I didn't realize that not having a room growing up, that I would sleep on the couch in the living room, was not like that we're poor, you know? We were in a 2-bedroom house for 5 of us. And my grandfather used to bring home, he would work on the docks or something like that, and would bring home boxes of lobster. And they would be like, ew, I don't want lobster. Him and my aunts would be like, I don't like lobster. And they didn't know how good, like now.
Wow.
He's like, I didn't realize that lobsters were such a, delicacy.
Yeah, delicacy.
Yeah. But yeah, cute stories like that really reminded me of my grandfather and Gwan-sik being so close. So that was my favorite character. That was the character that that it just sang for me. Did you have a character that also leapt off the screen for you?
Mine was Gwan-sik too, because by the end, I was just like, that list that what I'm looking for in a guy, Gwan-sik just went to the top. And then I'm sitting here like, okay, is that person real? So I'm so happy you said your grandpa is like that, because that means that
Very
person
sweet,
is real.
Yeah.
But at first, I had Nam Gu-ming's character in My Dearest at the top.
Yeah.
So now I was comparing both of them, and I was like, damn. I do think I would still go for a Gwan-sik. So I'm looking for my Gwan-sik. If you have any hookups, let them slide in my DMs.
Yeah. Send them your way for sure.
I completely agree. I think he was definitely my standout character as well. I mean, I could write a book on his character, to be honest with you. I could go on and on about him, but I completely agree with that. But I will say that a standout character for me I always like to do this. I like to, throw everybody for a loop. I would have to say, for me, another standout was Boo Sung-gil. played by one of my favorite actors, Chae Dae-hoon.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. I absolutely adore him as an actor, and I think he's the definition of a scene stiller when it comes to acting for me. Whenever he comes on the screen, I don't think about anyone else. And that happened throughout this entire drama, even with his character being just kind of just despicable at times and gross at times and just horrible. But I could not look away from his performance. So his character really stood out to me, even though he was a character you weren't supposed to be, fawning over by any means, but the performance was just too good. And then I did like how his character kind of evolved towards the end there. I love seeing him as a grandfather. I'm not gonna lie. Just seeing him more on screen in general, I was having a good time. So I wanted to throw him out there because I just stand out scene stiller.
Yeah, he's great. He's really good, and he surprised me as well, especially how they wrote his character because it's so complex.
So complex.
So complex.
Give it to him, guys.
And he's a side character. He's super
That's what
complex.
I mean.
I agree. And he was so jealous of Gwan-sik.
So jealous.
Oh my gosh.
So jealous. But their friendship at the end there, I was like, I kind of love this though.
Yeah.
The person I did struggle with was Park Hae-joon, like his wife. Sis, why are you there? Why are you
She never really explained it either. She never really explained it.
Yeah, it's kind of, she's just trapped in this bad habit, and he is providing for her, I guess, in that she has food on the table and she has a roof over her head, and she probably doesn't have much else in the way of an education. So she's trapped is what I gathered. And I love how she goes through an evolution as well in the show, and it takes decades for her to change. A lot of these side characters are really special. I'll tell you what, I wanted to see more of this character, and we just can't do it. I understand why we can't do it, but Yoon Hae-ran plays the Haenyo mother to Aeson's mother.
She was everything.
I could have gone 5 more episodes with her.
5 more. It could have been just about her. The drama could have been just about her. That's who was making me cry so early in the show. She was too good. Yeah. Too good.
I think she's fantastic. This show got a lot of accolades and 8 nominations at the 61st Paeksang Awards, winning 4 of them, including Best Drama. Time Magazine named this the best Korean drama of 2025. And I thought this was something of note. Time Magazine praised the series for being devastatingly profound, quote, showing not only the story of one family, but also the story of Korea's modernization from the post-war period to today, and highlighting a rich and distinct cultural history of Jeju Island, which I thought was a perfect synopsis or read of the show. I thought this was interesting. The production on this show was very expensive, reported to be around 60 billion won.
Whoa. What?
Which equates to, in today's dollars, the day that we're recording, $41,641,797.24.
That's not true. That
Yeah.
can't be true. Jess.
That is the
No.
equivalent. That is the production cost of this show.
What?
So I went back into the archives and I asked, what was the typical budget for a K-drama 10 years ago, 2016? And approximately per episode, it cost 700 million won to make a single episode of a K-drama. And that equates to, if it's a 16-episode K-drama, that's 11.2 billion won. What does that equate to in US dollars? That's $7,773,135 US dollars 10 years ago, thereabouts in that range, to make a K-drama, which means this drama is about 6 times.
Yeah.
It costs 6 times what it would normally cost to make a K-drama in 2016 to make When Life Gives You Tangerines.
How much was that pay of the actors? That's what I want to know.
That's the question.
They
That's
would
the
never
question.
release that.
They would never let us know.
They
that.
would never release
How much
that.
did IU charge for 2 roles?
For two
roles. How much IU? How much was that?
Give us the
IU.
numbers. I wanted to bring up the budget because I'm not quite sure where it went.
Where it went in their pockets. It has to been pay. It has to be.
But
Yeah, it
this
has
is
to
not
be paid.
sustainable.
at all.
No.
If the best K-drama of 2025, touted by Time,
43.
touted by so many people, cost $41.6 million to make, and you want to flood the industry with $41 million K-dramas, it's not going to happen.
I kind of want it to happen.
That is not sustainable.
I want it to break so that then we can go back to yesteryear.
Like
when
those
dramas,
cheap-ass K-dramas with a
cheap
good
ones.
story.
Yes! I want to go back. Take us back. Take us back.
And I don't know if you guys had thoughts on it, but I just wanted to throw that in there.
I do think the bubble is going to burst soon, or I hope it does, where it stabilizes the cost of making these dramas.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the story is great, but the story is, you can put it in like 2002, 2004, 2000, like in the earlier years.
Absolutely.
And it would fit right in.
Mm-hmm.
I also do think they would have better shots from what we get in Tangerine. I'm so disappointed in the Jeju shots.
I'm not crazy. This looks like slop.
No.
Netflix
It is
slop.
crazy.
Oh, absolutely.
This looks like every other Netflix movie and
mm-hmm,
TV show.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
mm-hmm, absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it went into the actor's pay.
Absolutely. Because it doesn't make any sense for it. Because like you said, that was one of the things that stood out to me as a big no-no, is that for it to be the top K-drama of 2025 and for it cinematically not to be, or cinematographically not be as beautiful as it could have been. It just doesn't make sense. Like, you should have been one of the most beautiful dramas I've seen on the screen in a long time with the way that they talk about this drama. And it was so easy. You were in Jeju-do. Like, it should be easy to shoot how beautiful that is. So I'm so confused. Why?
Yeah, I don't know. So what would you give When Life Gives You Tangerines out of 5 Hoju bottles? 5 being the best, 0 to 1 being terrible.
All right, Carol, I'll go after you.
I would give it 3.6. Give it 3.6.
3.6.
I was expecting. Oh,
Okay, Carol, talk me through your
Carol.
score. Talk me through your score.
Carol.
Well, 50% is 2.5. I'm a big cinematography person.
Oh, okay.
And like I said, I don't think it was the best in terms of cinematography. But it also, just what I mentioned earlier, the story could have been a couple of years ago. Not a couple, 20 years ago. And it would have worked and it would have felt like the K-dramas that I knew. So 3.6. It feels unfair to give it a 4, looking at the other dramas that we've given 4, especially for the cinematography.
So by saying it could have been done a couple of years ago, what do you mean by that?
I mean, the story and why everyone loves it so much makes me feel like you love it so much because you're not watching the shows in 2004. You're not watching. Sorry. That's what I mean. I'll just stop it.
Carol, you just gagged the girls, Carol.
So you're okay. So let me get this straight. I'm not contesting your rating. I'm just trying to get a better handle on why you gave it 3.6. So you're saying because this show is not reinventing the wheel necessarily.
Yeah.
And it's impressing people that don't have a deep well of K-drama knowledge.
Ouch. That sounds harsh.
That's what I'm gathering.
I wouldn't say deep knowledge of K-drama, not like deep understanding. I don't know what to tell you.
Do you know there
Jess.
is something to be said about the hook of IU and Park Bo-gum in the first few episodes?
I didn't like the first few episodes. It took me till episode, when did the kid die? 6, 7? For me to be like, okay, yeah. For me to be like, okay, I can get into this. Mind you, I did like Park Bo-gum's character himself, like throughout the show. And I was just like, you this foolish boy. Why are you still following this selfish girl? But I got it. I got it. He liked her. But her character, I could not connect with her until her kid died.
Yeah, she's a little tough. Tough nut to crack. Lola, why don't you give us your rating?
I was preparing for this because, this is the hardest part for me. I don't do well with like
You don't do
scoring.
this on your
So
show.
I don't. And so I'm always like, okay, I have to be prepared. So I thought about this beforehand, and I was going between like a 4 and then a 4.5. But I think I had landed on a 4 only because of that. I want to completely say that I agree a lot with what Carol was just saying. As far as the story itself it could have been done years ago. It's not something that I feel like I haven't seen before. If that, to be honest, I feel like I have seen this show before and other dramas. So I do feel like that to me means that it wasn't anything life-changing because of that. I feel like if you isolate it can feel life-changing. But if you think about it in the grand scope of K-drama, for me, it's not life-changing. Were there beautiful, beautiful moments? Did I relate to a lot of it? Did it make me, like I said, feel all of these emotions throughout? Absolutely. But it was, for me, like, it wasn't something that I hadn't seen before to the point where I feel like it needs to be. I mean, I feel like it could be heralded in 2025. I think that's absolutely fine. But I wouldn't say in the grand scheme of like this type of story, it was completely life-changing. Like, for example, and this is me talking about Jun Young, The Star is Born. Like, I felt there was a lot of similarity, weirdly, about like the time period, kind of where it was located and things like that. And I felt like I got a lot more from that experience than I did when Life Gives You Tangerines. So I don't want to say that I didn't enjoy the drama. I did in the watching moment experience.
Right.
So that makes sense. But when I step out of it,
absolutely,
I'm like, okay, I watched it.
It's gone. It's out of mind.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Okay, I'm going to jump in and give my score as basically 4 out of 5 Hoju bottles as well. Similar. I think we're all really close to each other because 3.6 versus 4 is, nickel difference. But yeah, there's something to be said for the fact that this didn't stick to my bones. And I'm going to basically parrot what you said, Lola, that it was very easy to stop watching this show at any point. Like, I was at episode 8, stopped at episode 8 for months, and I never felt, wow, I need to go back and finish When Life Gives You Tangerines. This is missing from my life. Never, ever, ever. And even when I was finishing and on my way to the finale, that, towed me up. I, again, didn't feel any sense of urgency, any sense of this is going to make my year at all. Like you said, this is not reinventing the wheel. Yeah, I've seen other K-drama slice of life shows that touched me more, and I guess in more profound ways, despite this being a very profound show. Like, I'm not going to take that away from it. It was going for the emotional jugular, and I think that it's successful in that.
It did.
But yeah, I can't say it's the best of the last 5 years. It's definitely of the best of 2025. I don't know. Maybe it's because we've been watching K-dramas for a really long time. All 3 of us. And we've seen a lot of stuff. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
I think that's it. Yeah. I think that's it.
It's kind of the difference between, same thing for movie years. You're like, 1997 was a great year. But then you look at other years and you're like, the best of this year is not the same caliber as the best of this other year. And I think that's kind of what we're edging toward, is that When Life Gives You Tangerines is great in its weight class.
Yeah.
Yes.
And when you talk about, the Time magazine review, and please forgive me if this sounds harsh, I'm just like, by you Times magazine, your American shows, none of you hits like this. So of course you're going to see this as an amazing thing. It's not that amazing to some of us who have been here for decades.
Yeah, and I don't want that to sound disparaging to those that were really touched by this show.
We are still touched by it.
We were touched. We've been crying for hours watching this show.
Every episode.
Yeah. But there is something, we have a little perspective, I guess, is what we're all trying to get out with these scores. Overall, this is great, but it's not long-term changing us in fundamental ways and making us reassess what K-dramas can do. which I think that's sort of the feedback that I was picking up when people were watching When Life Gives You Tangerines, is that this is like a life-changing experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all making faces like,
I get it though. I get it. I completely get it. But I also, you know what? Okay, this is one thing I will say about the drama, and that I will give it. I will say that from a writing perspective, I do feel like it is so beautiful. I really think it. I like from a writer writing kind of thing. Like if you're a writer, like what the writer does is phenomenal. Like there's a lot throughout the drama that I just think is phenomenal, and I think that it does a lot that you can pick apart, that you can analyze, that you can, move and connect the dots. And I feel like that is special. And I feel like sometimes when K-drama world and K-drama land, even in the past, I feel like that wasn't always the focus. You know what I mean? Like to kind of put certain nuggets and use certain things, and as far as writing style goes in these stories. But I feel like that might have struck with a lot of people. I think that was new for people in K-drama, like just having a story that has like these things that, like the motif of the seasons and the colors and the spring, and comparing the characters to sometimes the seasons. And I just feel like a lot of that was
non-linear
fun.
storytelling.
Yeah,
flipping
that's
back
not,
and forth.
exactly. That's kind of, I think, new for K-drama watchers in a way, but I don't think it's, it hasn't been done before, but I do feel like that's what stood out, I think, in 2025 at least, for this drama.
All right. Fair enough.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Why is the show called When Life Gives You Tangerines?
Oh, why do you think, Lola? Before I jump in.
Oh, I don't know. Like, I don't know if it was mentioned in the story or not, but I always just assumed that it was like the idea of play on when life gives you lemons, and you make lemonade, and then when life gives you tangerines, because they were in Jeju the whole time. So I was assuming it was something like that.
Yeah, I think you just nailed it. But
okay,
go ahead.
I agree with that, and that makes sense. I think, when you name a title, you're expecting for that name to show up in the show or in the movie or in some way. And I was reflecting on, wait, how many times did we actually see or hear tangerines in the show?
I think they're shown a lot.
I thought they were persimmons more so. Because like the big moments when they sold their house, it was a persimmon tree. When IU's character was finally getting married, the mom had gifted tangerines, and then she received persimmons, dried persimmons. So I was like, interesting. Why is this called When Life Gives You Tangerines? But I get your response.
Yeah, I think there's tangerines weaving in and out of like literal tangerines weaving in and out of the show. And like Lola said, the play on the maxim, when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. It's Lola mentioned briefly the changing of the seasons, and that being a recurring motif in the show, and life and loss and renewal and struggle and acceptance, and all of these themes that the show explores through the lives of these characters. It's touching on resilience, and it's just not about enduring hardship. It's about finding the warmth and the meaning and the beauty in life. And that is an element, I guess, of making lemonade in hard times, or in this case, tangerine juice, I guess.
Yes.
Also, I think in one of the final episodes, Esun writes a poem, and the poem's one of the final lines has something about when life gives you tangerines. Yeah.
Okay, that's what
there is a direct quote, I think, in that.
And in the final episode too, there's the scene when Esun is sitting with her mom talking about the poetry collection. She's peeling tangerines.
That's
the very final
That's
scene.
true.
Yeah, she peels tangerines a few times. Yeah,
and then gives it to her mom, and then like there's also like a solo shot on the tangerine. I felt like I was like, okay, they're trying to nail it home. Tangerines.
Oh, see, I missed all that. Okay.
You watched it very fast, Carol. Inside 3 days.
I had a year. It took me a year to watch it, so I feel like I had
Thursday,
time.
Friday, Saturday. Yeah, 3 days.
3 days. All right. We're going to get going on some spoilers. We're going to be back and spoil what happens in When Life Gives You Tangerines right after this.
Excuse me, 뭐라고?
괜찮아.
You know, I have no 친구.
Oh, sorry.
Swear, disgusting shit.
All right, so we're in the other side of spoilers. We're going to spoil When Life Gives You Tangerines. And again, this is not a recap podcast. We cannot go through every single episode of this show. All the minutia, we're not going to do that. But I think we do want to start with some characters and talk through a few of their journeys. Did you guys have a character in mind to start on?
Can we start with Gwan-sik?
Yeah, go for it.
I loved Gwan-sik's character. I remember saying, I don't understand why he's with this selfish girl. Or what I felt like was selfish, if you will, in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
But
Do you know,
was...
I have to say,
Go ahead.
My grandmother was not the nicest person. So, I mean, she was a saint, but she was very similar in a way to Aesun's character. And that's why I guess I believed it, that he was like so attracted to this stubborn, bratty girl.
Fair.
I was like, that might be, I don't know if that's a
thing.
Maybe
Yeah.
for
it's a
these types
thing.
of personalities to attract each other, but
Opposites attract.
yeah, very
Yeah,
much the
yeah.
opposites. But you didn't understand his fascination with her.
Yeah, especially when they were kids. I was like, I don't get it, bruv. But I really appreciated how he was just a solid rock.
Yeah.
And there were times when I was wondering how he was feeling and how he was dealing with things, because we always see Aesun's character speak out her emotions, speak out her frustrations, her anger, and we never really get to see him speak up, only towards the end when they went to the hospital and he's like finally sharing what he is, who and what he's resentful for. And it just made me feel, again, Park Bo-gum, the loneliness, the sadness, the struggling with something behind his eyes. That really stuck to me. I loved how he was willing to do anything for the family, to put food on the table. And I especially loved how he wanted Aesun to shine, because he knew she just had it in her. And when they asked him, what do you want to be? He's like, I want to be the first lady. I was just like, oh, that is so sweet. But also, what do you want? And it's sort of, I had to accept, like, oh, he just wants to be there for her, to remove the obstacles as much as he can for her. That was pretty lovely. And I think what I particularly liked was he wasn't just nice to Aesun. We see the actor lady who comes back and helps his business. But even that just spoke to his character, that, oh, this person is just a kind, caring person. And oftentimes we'll see, oh, I want him to be kind, but only to me.
Oh, yeah.
He should treat everyone else like doo-doo.
Like Dio.
So that's what I was just like, oh, a kind person is a really good person. Even if they don't have, they will find a way to give. So, yeah. General thoughts.
I like that you mentioned that he's kind of not a man of many words. He is quite literally a steel heart. That's what their nickname for him is that he's the steel heart. And he keeps a lot of stuff bottled up and locked away, and you just never see it. But he is very much a caring, kind individual. As you said, Aesun is the sun, and he is in her orbit. And that is all that he cares about. She is number one. And I love that he made all these promises to her, which I can't even remember what they are. But basically that she's going to go to school, get a higher education, that she would be a published poet at some point, is I think what some of the promises were. I feel like there were three, but I only remember two.
There was three,
anyway, And life happens, you know, they get pregnant very young, they marry when they're super duper young. She gets kicked out of school because of their little tryst that they do in the mainland, and they have all these fun shenanigans in this like sex motel that they stay at for one night that scams them and all of this stuff. They have to start building a life right away. And I dare you to find a family that hasn't had some version of this happen in their family history, where it's like, well, we were really young, we didn't know what to do, but we just made it happen and we had to pivot. And even in my life, my mom was always a working mom. And I asked her one day, like, did you always want to do what you were doing now? Did you always want to be in accounting? And she was like, no. I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to be a doctor was her dream. And I was like, what happened? She was like, well, I got married and then I got pregnant with you 5 years later. And I was like, oh. So very similar fashion where you just have to pivot. Life happens. And it's not that these dreams are unimportant, but they just manifest in different ways.
Yeah.
Completely agree.
So I loved Gwan-sik and how he was basically haunted by the fact that he could not give her what he promised her. She never got to go to school. And in the end, he's like, thank God that you're a published writer and you got to be the poet that we always knew you were.
But she also got to be chief.
Yes, the chief thing. Oh my gosh, yeah.
And when he was campaigning for her, I was just like, oh, this man. He really pushed her or supported her in going for what she wanted and trying to make her happy and whatnot. I guess his purpose was her. And I absolutely loved when he would prioritize her in front of the kids and be like, don't give it to the kids. You enjoy it. Or don't do this with the kids. You go do it. That was awesome too.
Yeah.
Basically, this patriarchal society is put on blast for the front half of the show, especially when Gwan-sik makes all of these seemingly tiny decisions that place him closer to Eson and farther away from his family, his blood relations, his mother, his grandmother. Yeah. I wondered how you guys felt about that and how those decisions impacted your view of Gwan-sik.
I loved it because my dad did the same. My dad pretty much moved out with my mom, and now when I ask my dad about it, he's just like, yeah, I had to do what I had to do to protect my family and to protect your mom. So that made sense to me 100%, and I didn't think too deeply about it. And then also trying to support her dreams. Like when I was born, my mom was in school, and that's why I have all these aunties and moms. She was doing a postgraduate degree at the time, and that's why I have all these secondary moms. And so I remember asking my dad, tell me the story of my birth. And he starts talking about maybe 3 months into being on this side of the planet, and then starts talking about all the other aunties and their role, whatever, just because your mom wanted to go to school. I wanted to support your mom going to school. So I was just like, oh, that is so sweet. I mean, go you.
Lola, talk to me about Gwan-sik.
I, like we mentioned earlier, absolutely love Gwan-sik. He was probably my favorite character of the drama. And he's the one that I feel like I have the most notes about. One of the things that I did like or enjoy doing while watching the drama was comparing him to the seasons, because I felt like there were these moments where, I mean, they do it themselves in the drama, to be honest, but I liked picking it apart a little bit more. Like the idea of him being her first love, Asun's first love, and that being spring. And in the end, she describes it as like he made her days, every day spring because of him, you know? So I love that idea of like he makes spring possible, if that makes sense, for her. So I love that. And then the idea of summer.
Spring, if we sit there for a second, spring, everything is in bloom. Everything is bright and
love
beautiful.
Is in bloom. Yes.
Love is in the air. Things are growing.
And even poetry.
There's babies.
I feel like, and I feel like poetry too is a big part of the story. So I feel like even in spring, there's a lot. And he even says at the end when he's really sick and they're looking at the flowers blooming, he's like, "This is a perfect time to write poetry."
This is beautiful.
Yeah. So
stop and look at the flowers.
Look at the flowers. Yeah. He wants her to write poetry about that. So I feel like that is the spring moments for me. And then summer, I think it's wonderful to connect him to being a person who absorbs the heat for his family, because in the summer is when their baby dies. And I feel like that was such a horrible, horrific moment for them. But he really did take a lot of that heat because he blamed himself a lot about, as being the reason why they lost their son. So I feel like that was a moment there where I was like, okay, he'll take the heat for his family, which we would want any good man to do for his family. Yep. And then like in winter, I really thought about, let me say fall. Fall, I would say just being the breadwinner, you know what I mean? I kind of think of fall as like harvest and him being big on catching fish, like he's a fisherman, bringing in the catch, that kind of made me think about the idea of always bringing the harvest for his family. And then winter, obviously for me, was when he got sick and how that was really a cold time for obviously him, but his family as well, because Ae-soon, but definitely his children, I feel like really were... I fought with them about how they treated their father. Oh my goodness, they got to me at times. Yeah. But I really feel like in that time they really had a moment of like, wait a minute, he was one of the best of the best. Even the moment with not Ae-soon, when I keep forgetting the daughter's name.
Kumyoung?
Yes, when they're on the boat, after she has the big breakup from her.
Oh my God,
fiance, and they go on that boat he wakes her up early in the morning, brings her on the boat with him, and she's like, "You do this all the time. Like, I can't believe you wake up this early. Like, what are you doing? Don't you ever want to sleep in?" And he's like, yeah, of course. Who doesn't want to sleep in? But he's like, but I think that what gets me up in the morning is like, if I get up early, that may mean that my family gets to sleep in a little bit longer. So that's what gets me up in the morning. And then like she's looking at him like he is her actual son. And that what made me realize like he is their son in a way. Like you're
incidentally touching on the most beautiful shot of the
most beautiful shot that we got
sunrise.
One. Yeah, the sunrise scene. So I just really loved his character, and I loved how he embodied, I feel like, one of the biggest motifs of the entire drama, which was the seasons changing, the seasons going, seasons moving, and being a constant. Like the seasons are always going to come and go, and he was like that. Like he was a constant until he wasn't.
Get out.
I'm sorry.
I forgot to say this in the non-spoiler section, but fuck this show. What the fuck? Because this ending really shook me up, and it shook the tree. You know what I'm saying? Shook the tangerine tree.
Yes, it did.
I really thought he was going to die earlier.
Oh.
I know. I got spoiled. That's why I really stopped this drama a year ago. I heard he was going to die. He was going to get sick and die. And I said, you know what? I'm good. I'm checking out.
We don't need to finish this.
We don't need to finish this. So watching it again, knowing the ending, that was horrific for me. It was so bad. Like how they were treating him. That's why I guess when I was like his children, the way that they were treating him, I was just like, guys, he's not going to be here with you guys for much longer. Get it together.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was hard.
I was pretty mean as a teenager, I will say. I'm not anymore. I think that despite some of my resting bitch face RBF, I am the nice sister, okay? Like, my sister is definitely the mean sister, and I am the nice sister. But the way that I treat my parents now is infinitely different than how I treated them 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I think that's tough. To put a mirror up to your antics when you're younger and you don't care is tough, I think, for many people to see how you've undervalued and underappreciated your parents who have had a way tougher life than you have. It's really hard to think back to all the times that the daughter was mean to the dad and just seemingly so cruel to him, impatient with him, whining and bratty, and the moment that he goes to wake her up early, I'm like, oh my God, I've totally done this before. Where I'm like, oh, what is it? Leave me alone. It's early. And I remember in the show, she said she was tired. And tired of what?
She said that she was able to sleep well for the first time in a long time. I think
Yeah.
she was just heartbroken. I think that was the only thing.
That's the thing, is that she was depressed after her breakup.
Yeah.
But what have you been doing all day?
Eating.
Nothing.
She was eating constantly. Yes, she was.
So it was it was real tough for me to swallow that pill of, I've done that, but also why have we all been like that? He is such a key factor in stitching her back together.
Mm-hmm. Like even the wedding.
The freaking wedding. Get out, bro.
The wedding. Oh my gosh.
The way he cried.
Oh my gosh, Carol. I was boohooing like him.
No, seriously. It was so bad. I was the same way.
That's so funny. I was like Asun. I was like, stop crying.
Carol.
Are your ad campaigns lighting up the dashboard, but not the pipeline? That's bull spend. And marketers are calling it out in Dashboard Confessions.
My boss asked for results, so I opened my dashboard for the only positive-sounding metric I had. Impressions.
Cut the bull spend. See revenue, not just reach. LinkedIn delivers the highest return on ad spend of major ad networks. Advertise on LinkedIn. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a $250 credit. Go to linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
What I like is that she hated crying at weddings. She wanted to play it cool. She was trying to get fresh with it and be above the emotions of her wedding day. And the dad was like, if you want to turn back right now, I'll take you. We can leave right now. Are you sure? And, double and triple checking, just like a dad. And she has this whole narration of like her whole life he was there with a net to catch her if she falls from this tightrope. Mm-hmm. And he was the backup plan, looking out for her, supporting her all her life. And she just starts to bawl. Mm-hmm. Balls all the way down the aisle. Yeah. I lost it. The moment I lost it was when, this is so freaking rude, they show his perspective and he sees a little girl walking down
with the wedding dress.
Hug off. Walking down with the wedding dress. All of the stages of her life is what he still sees her as, this little girl. And then she throws this singer in here at the end of episode 13. The narration is, the day before my dad passed.
The day before my dad passed.
I told him, Dad, I'm sorry. I must have said it 100 times over. That's when Dad told me, there's nothing to be sorry about. From the day you were born, I was already in heaven.
Yep. I have that written down as well.
Damn, this show.
Beautiful.
Toy Story 3 in it. Mm-hmm. Do you guys have other things you want to add for the dad? We can talk about episode 16 if you want.
Do we talk about?
Do we want to? I guess we could talk first about his relationship with the son, and I guess both Aesun's relationship with the son and his relationship with his son, and how he sold his boat to bail the son out of jail.
And how the son didn't feel like he was loved as much as Gumyoung. To me, though, it did feel like they loved their firstborn more than...
Yeah.
No, to be absolutely for real, they played favorites, and the favorite child was the daughter, Gumyoung.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I also really have to say it was, to me, a standard case of middle child syndrome. He technically was their middle child. So I feel like that's where this really came from.
Ooh.
They, as a middle child, I'm always very, very, keen on how they treat middle children in stories. And I was like, this is why he's getting treated this way. He's the one that,
middle child.
He's the middle child. So yeah, he definitely was not their favorite. I mean, I don't want to say he wasn't their favorite, but they leaned a little bit more towards Gumyoung, and she took the heat for that. She said it herself. She's like, I have to be the perfect, I have to do everything for everybody. Yeah. I'm the eldest daughter, so she took the heat from it. But I definitely feel like they leaned a little bit more towards her for sure. So he had a leg to stand on. I think he had a leg to stand on.
Do you know what? I have a totally different perspective. I have very little sympathy for the brother, and I'm an eldest child.
That's why.
That's why.
Because you're the eldest. As a middle child, he had a leg to stand on.
I'm like, get up, stop whining.
No, he was ignored. No one even cared about him. He would get leftovers. Like, They were too busy worried about their golden eldest child and mourning the death of their youngest. Like, he was just there in the middle. Like,
Oh
it
my
makes
God.
sense. I think he had a leg. I
Oh,
think he had
wow.
a
So
leg.
you were very sympathetic toward this
I mean,
brother.
he made me so angry a lot. Like, don't let me,
No, I just kind of mean in the way
Yes.
that he was
Yes.
resentful toward
Correct.
them for
I do
these
think he had a
infractions
right.
that just piled up throughout his life.
I do think he had it right. That's why I really loved the scene when he, after they think they've lost him because he gets on a boat like he's gonna
He
run
gets
away.
on a deep sea fishing boat and they just go over the deep end, like
They
the
go
whole
over
family.
They lose it. But when she, when Asun, finds him and she's like, mad at him, but then she also starts apologizing. I really felt that. I'm going to be honest. Again, like the mother just admitting, like, I get it. It's my fault. I was the one that was giving you leftovers. I was the one that basically ignored you. Like, I get it. And I really appreciated that apology. So,
Oh, wow.
I did.
And it's not the first time she apologized to him, because when the baby brother dies and the kid is like, I'm not talking to you because you're angry and because I left my baby brother. And that's when she sort of comes to and she's like, oh my God, I can't put this burden on my kid. And she starts apologizing to him. But I do think that their first was so precious in some way.
Precious.
To them.
They say it all the time, how precious she is.
Precious to them, so they couldn't, like, I don't know, as much as they wanted it to be equitable, it just wasn't.
It was not equitable. And this is tough for me to understand because my family, at least me and my sister, there are no favorites. My parents don't have a favorite between us. But my father was the favorite child from the grandparents that I've been referring to. That was their favorite child. And so I grew up with my grandparents, and the way that they treated him was different. The way that they valued his opinion was different. And I mean, in that respect, I'm like, what gives? What is that? Because I wasn't raised like that in our household. They got good advice. Aesun was there with the aunties all day long, the Henyos. And one specifically told her in an early episode, do not play favorites with your children. They will remember it and hold it against you.
They will.
And I'm like, bitch, wake up, fix this now.
Yeah. But I think also the her being a favorite was easy too, because the family itself is quite matriarchal. Like, they really do favor, like, Asun she wears the pants, like she whatever she needs, whatever she wants, it's gonna take place because that's how
That's
Gwan-sik
how
is
my
for her.
grandmother was as
So
well.
I mean, I definitely think that was easy for them to favor the daughter. I think that was gonna happen no matter what. I think it was and also she was the splitting image of Asun. She was Asun. She was IU again. I mean,
part two.
part two. So I think she was just, and she also studied English. Her mother wanted to be a writer the whole time. I feel like she was putting a lot on her daughter to be her lived in the world.
Yes.
And it was the pressure
Absolutely.
was there.
They put all of their hopes and dreams on the daughter Kumyong, and they didn't put any expectations or any responsibility on the middle child, the little brother. And she, in that moment when the Haenyo auntie is like, you can't play favorites with your children, babe, her rebuttal to that is, well, if only he was better. If only he didn't do all this shit. If only he wasn't stealing the
little,
what are they?
Off the cards?
Yeah,
like,
off the cards. Like the nameplates off the cars and stuff like that, and selling them to kids at school. Like, if only he wasn't so delinquent in every way, I wouldn't have to be on his ass so much.
Yeah. But he was worried about money. That was one of his big
He was
things
hustling.
as well. He was hustling. And even when he got older, obviously, that was still a big thing, because that was a lot of his contention with his father, was like, hey, you never had enough. You just never had enough for us. And so, of course, I felt the pressure to make money was from when he was young, I feel like. So I do feel like.
Yeah, he was always trying to take shortcuts. He was always trying to get rich quick. And the thing is, that's not really how that works.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Like, sorry to say. I think what he wanted was wealth.
Yes.
What he hoped for and dreamed for the family was wealth.
Yeah.
And wealth is measured in different ways. And you can see that when you juxtapose their family with the other family. You're talking about your other favorite character.
Yes, Sang-gil.
Yeah.
Sang-gil, yeah.
The other crabby, shitty captain, Pusangil. His family is so unhealthy, and despite having money, they did not have the same relational wealth and love that Aesun's family had, that Gwan-sik fostered in their home. The little brother did not see that.
No.
He didn't see all the ways that they were rich.
At all.
And Aesun did, because she would constantly say, everyone is jealous of me. And the man that you are for me. But the kid, you barely see that with him until pretty much episode 16.
Yeah, right. It took him a while to come around. But then like the rich moment also came up on the boat, because I think Gwan-sik was apologizing to his daughter at the time about how he's like just sorry that she was born into their family, basically. And she was like, whatever, absolutely not. Like, if I was, born again, she said something about like, I would choose you again. Because, I think you are the richest, and he holds on to that. Like, she said that I am rich, even though monetarily that has never been the case. But she does say that. And I think she even says that one point, he brings it up to her again towards the end, and she's like, I didn't really mean that. Like, she's like tries to pull it back. And I was like, no, you said that.
It's out there.
You said it.
I think the little brother, just to wrap up his story, super, super annoying. He made wrong choice after wrong choice. But when he hits rock bottom and his dad has to sell the boat, Gwan-sik has to sell his beloved boat. It's a part of him, his identity. He starts selling acorn jelly and sticky rice cakes out on the street at night. And everybody is like giving him the same advice. First of all, buying his product.
That was great. I actually loved that part.
And everyone's like, you need to take better care of your dad. Hey, treat your dad nice.
Yeah.
What caught me from that moment is like, it only hit me in hindsight that, and I guess the drama also doesn't show it until the end of that moment, that it was Gwan-sik who's giving the money to the neighbors.
He told he told the other grandfather,
yes,
the in-law, the asshole
Sang-gil,
yes. He told that guy, hey, why don't you pay off the entire neighborhood to buy your son-in-law, my son's sticky rice cakes or acorn jelly or whatever it was? Because he's struggling. Like, you're going to regret it if you don't help them out.
But he wants him to work. He's like, but I want you to work, but I also am not really, but I'm still feeding into it in a way. I was like, I love Gwan-sik. He's just the best.
Yeah.
He's the best.
Such a sweetie. So episode 16 rolls around and they pull the rug out from everybody because he is struggling not with rheumatoid arthritis and little aches and pains. He has multiple myeloma, which is a cancer of the plasma cells, and the line 24 sessions of chemotherapy melted the steel heart. Tears. Tears. The line, Dad was like the sea, we all relied on him to live. Tears. Tears. When he finally passes, the line, Dad slept in for the first time. I was like, wrap it up. Wrap it up. We are stressed just thinking about this final episode. He had saved every penny that the daughter Kumyong had sent them over the years. She said 100,000 won, which is, I guess, a little less than $100 every month to them ever since she started working. He never spent any of it, put it all in a savings account, and she got it back after he passed. Are you fucking kidding me?
See, that's the moment that got me.
Oh.
Everything before, I was like, I thought you would die in like 5 episodes ago. And I was waiting for it to happen. And so when it did, I was like, okay, finally it has happened. But the money thing?
No.
Yeah.
Damn.
It got me.
You know what got me was, we mentioned Yomheran before and how we wanted more of her. She circles back in the final episode. She is the publishing editor who's reviewing the manuscript.
Yes. Yeah.
When that reveal happened, and you can see they show all of this these family photos and experiences that she's had in her life that inform who she might be. They couple it with all of these flashbacks of our female lead with the mom, those few episodes that we had her at the beginning, and they show that it's her, and I lost it. I lost it, that she got the second life where everything happened for her. You know, she got that education. She wasn't a Haenyeo. She's not working in the sea in this hazardous job.
Yeah.
And she's got a desk job.
You know what? Yeah, I agree. And the other thing that hit me was just how silently the Haenyeos just disappeared.
Do we want to talk about like the village, takes a village to raise a child aspect of the show and the aunties? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I really appreciated seeing that. And it was sort of, when you look at Aesun, when you look at her and giving birth to Geumyoung and giving birth to her kids, she really had a village taking care of the kids alongside her. And there was a scene where she didn't have rice, and this old neighbor couple would come put rice in their kitchen for them, and every morning.
And then they're at the wedding for the daughter, Geumyoung. And girl, this whole show got me toe up. All right, keep going.
So just that aspect, and contrast that with when Geumyoung has her daughter and she only has her mom to come and help her out. That made me feel like, oh, we're losing recipes.
Yeah.
We're losing recipes, because when mom comes to the house and her granddaughter is on the floor screaming and yelling, the food is spilled on the floor, and Geumyoung is having a meltdown, I was just like, if you had your aunties, if you had your village, maybe you would not have been feeding this kid. You wouldn't have this. There's sort of this loneliness that comes with not having the community around you when you have a kid. So I appreciate the aunties. I appreciated how they kept the mom alive by constantly talking about her, and look at her daughter, and Isun's mom. Look at her. By now your mom would be saying this, or your mom would be doing this. Or I think that really helped Isun not intentionally close off the memory of her mom. So she was always able to talk about her because she was very much alive to everyone else. I appreciated that.
I also love that. I loved all of that. And the one thing, like going back to you mentioning, Carol, the scene with the neighbors, the elderly couple were giving the family rice.
They were the landlords, yeah.
They were landlords, yeah, giving just the right amount of rice, so she so she didn't think. She was like, "Wait, did I see that right?" I said it was suspicious. I love that.
It's a fish and loaves situation here.
My favorite quote, I think, actually comes from that moment. That's that couple, when I think he said something about, let me find it. He said something like, have you ever seen a woman diver or a Haenyeo diving on her own? And he's like, when you're struggling to breathe in the dark waters, you need to stay close to others to survive, or fear will grip your heart and you won't make it. No one can live on their own. Go together with others. And I just think that permeated throughout the entire drama, that concept of needing others, go together with others. Because even this, I keep going back to my favorite scene, which is the boat scene, obviously, with the father, with Gwan-sik. But like, he says a similar thing about when she's like, aren't you afraid of being on the boat at night? I mean, not night, well, really in the dark. And he's like, of course it's scary, but he's like, I see the lights of the other boats in the water, and knowing that they're out there kind of just as lonely as I am makes me feel like I'm with them.
Word.
It's a real word. Like I
don't do life alone.
Don't do life alone. Like, people need people. Like, that's a real thing. And I think that's what the village is. Like, it takes a village to, the family. And I definitely, and even like they said in the drama, I think they say take a village to raise a child in a village to
Yeah.
save a life. I think that's what they said, because
Yeah.
she felt like the village saved her life after her son had passed.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
You know, let's talk about that for a second.
I was going to say really quickly, speaking of the middle child, at that scene when it was some flashback when after her son had passed, and she doesn't realize, she had like this aha moment that she's been like living in like a zombie. And then she realizes that her son, our middle child, is like eating. And she's like, where is he getting food from? She's like looking around. Yeah, she's like, I didn't do that. And then she goes over into like her little cupboard kitchen area. And there's just like food left up from all the village. And I just thought that was also a standout moment for like, hey, it takes a village. It takes a village.
I lost it again at the exact moment that you're referring to when she goes in the kitchen on her last day of catatonic depression. And her kids were fed. There was overflowing food and fish, even canola flowers in the outdoor pantry. And it's just this abundance from the village who made sure that her kids never went hungry. And she never forgot that kindness, that everybody stepped up when she needed that time to grieve as a mother. And there was a lot about that episode that made me cry. I mean, the little boy drowning and dying, really didn't see that coming.
Whoa. Yeah, talk about reason to stop a drama for a year.
Literally.
I did see that coming, because when he said, hug me, first off, when he dropped the candy, I was like, ooh, something's bad. That's
bad
the first
omen.
time.
It's an omen.
Yeah.
It's an
that's
old
the
school
first
omen.
Time I thought Gwan-sik was going to die. Because it was a storm. So I was like, oh, Gwan-sik is going to die. And then when he said, hug me, and she pushes him aside because Gum-young might have had an accident, I was like, oh, watch this kid get missing. She starts running. She tells the drunk, I don't know if she was drunk, but sleeping
she was at
auntie,
least napping.
Yeah. Take care of my kids. And she runs off. I'm like, you're going to lose one of these kids. And I suspected it would be the little one, because that moment of hug me and you did not deliver.
The regret.
The regret is going to eat you up. So, but I loved how she would always put a bowl of food and candy for him.
Oh, yeah. The bowl of peas with
windowsill.
rice and the dish of candies for the boy.
I love that. I also loved, and this is just something they did throughout the drama as far as like playing with time and stuff. I love the dream sequences, or the kind of sequences of seeing someone from the past that's not really there kind of moments. Like
I thought these were well done too.
Well done. Very well done. And I think Ae-soon's one that really got me was when she sees her mother again. When they decide to move house, and she's like saying goodbye to this house that, her mother was in, she lost her child in, and she's like, oh my gosh, this is a big moment. And she has this dream where she sees her mom in there and in the next room, and she's sitting and talking to her mom. Like those sequences, and anytime I watch them, usually in dramas, like always get me when someone's like talking to someone who has passed already and they're like having a conversation with them like they're there. It breaks me down completely. And I think there was this moment with her mom is like telling her or asking her like, why don't you ever talk about your son? Like, why don't you talk to Gwan-sik, and why don't you guys actually discuss like the pain that you're both obviously feeling? And she's like, I can't do it. She's like, I cannot do it. I can't imagine like opening that up, because that's how I keep going. She's like, me ignoring it, me basically forgetting it is how I'm able to keep existing every day. And it was just heartbreaking. And her mom, like showing this image of like her mom looking at her with this pity of like, my daughter is in pain, really hurt me. Like watching the mothers see their daughters in pain was one of the hardest moments for me, for sure.
Do you remember when Ae-soon's mom runs after her because of that child trafficking?
Yes.
Girl, yeah.
Yes. The mother's instinct. Oh my gosh.
I mean, this whole show is a love letter to mothers, I think, specifically.
Yeah,
even over fathers, even though Gwan-sik is such a stellar, amazing grief flag dad. The mothers and the mothers' mothers is really the heart and soul of the show from episode 1. And I think they did an amazing job of showing, just to wrap up the conversation we were just having, of showing grief and the pain of losing a child. And I cannot say that I have any children or have lost any children, thankfully, but I remember what my grandmother sounded like when we told her that my aunt, her daughter, had passed away. I've never heard a sound like that before. And so to see Esun going through these stages of grief and saying, oh my, he's cold while she's holding his body. I remember taking my grandmother to see my aunt's body in the hospice and her saying she's cold. And it was very guttural and raw in a way that I related to, unfortunately, in my own life. And I wonder if there's any parents listening who can even share their story, let alone be reminded of that pain watching When Life Gives You Tangerines. And this is heartbreaking, to say the least.
Yeah. And there's also something to the character. I mean, Aesun's grandmother, her father's mother, and their connection because she lost her son. On.
Yes.
That was also really beautiful to me because like her mom in that moment, like I was just telling the dream sequence of her, her mom being like, you need to basically open the wound and address the pain. And she's like, I can't do it. But then that scene when she visits her grandmother and her grandmother only remembers her. Like she doesn't remember everybody else, but she remembers that she's her son's daughter.
It's funny like that.
Yes. And then she breaks. She tells her like, I know how you feel. She's like, I know exactly how you feel.
She didn't even say what it was.
She didn't say what it was.
She just said, I know how you feel.
She's like not being able to say it. And I was like, say what? This like say their names of their dead children, basically. And so then when she hears her say that, she breaks down and cries in her lap, and she looks like a little girl. And it just was, so back to mothers on mothers on mothers. Like, I broke down. I broke down.
Oh, when you said the name, I remembered when Gwan-sik had to write his son's name.
Oh, stop it, Carol!
For the death certificate.
Don't! And he was on his knees. On his knees in this public place, just bawling.
Wow.
I hated it. I hate it so much. I hate it.
The avoidant nature of their grief and how they never talked about their son in the last 20 years was absolutely buck wild to me. But they do round it out because they go visit the grave
together. I'm getting emotional again because that was so beautiful.
And he's sitting there playing with toys on the grave. Come on.
I hate it.
Get out.
And then it also got me because this is right before we find out about him being sick, Gwan-sik being sick. And so she asks him like, she said something about like, but we're going to get to see him again soon at some point, like as in them passing on to see him in heaven. And he's like, I don't want to see him when I die.
Stop.
Because I was like, this is disgusting. It was like, I don't want to see him when I die because I, basically like feeling guilty the fact that his son was alone this whole time, probably missing his parents. And he's like, I feel guilty seeing him at this point, even after I die. And then next, he's dying in the next couple episodes. It's this is great. This is just great.
I literally cannot.
I loved when he saw kids who would be about the same age as his son.
Carol! I forgot about that. I think I blocked that out intentionally.
Like he was really working through his grief in his own way. And while Aesun was very much like, I can't even look at kids who are the same age as my son at the time. That was,
that was good.
I'm definitely choking up.
Yeah, I forgot all about that.
I'd like to bring my score to a 4.
Carol. Just a little bit, right?
Now that we're embedded.
Yeah, when you feel that much, you can't help. You can't take it away from the drama. Like it makes you feel that much. I gotta give you some points. Beautiful.
So there's a lot on mothers in this. They're flawed, right? Like all of these mothers are not perfect, but they get something right because the kids turn out okay.
Yeah, they get something right.
You know what's funny? When whether it was the grandmother, the mother, Aesun, each generation is looking at them deal with the same challenges they dealt with when they were kids.
Yep.
And they're like, look at you. Look who's talking. Now you're dealing with this. Now your kid has colored hair.
I love that.
I loved those moments of levity because it just made it seem like, see, I wasn't crazy trying to discipline you. Now look at you.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Train up a child. Let's bring it down a little bit and talk about the pop culture elements in this show. I had a fun time with the Ghost release, with Demi Moore and Patrick Swayze, and they start playing Unchained Melody in the show. I was like, oh my God, that was fun. Kim Sono enters the chat in episode 9, I believe. He is basically a poor, starving artist who is doing these custom movie billboards for this theater in town. He is doing a billboard for, I think the movie is Pyeongkangso. And I looked up this movie and I was like, oh my God, I got to find a copy of this. So this is about it's a South Korean historical drama about a beautiful and sexually skilled woman in the Chosun era who becomes disabled after a horrific injury, leading her to retreat to the mountains where she is eventually found by a man who seeks her out. The film follows her as she navigates her new life in isolation and her encounter with Pyeon Kang-so, who sees her as a perfect match. So she basically finds love even after this horrific accident, and she is a scarred, sexually experienced woman or whatever. It's a classic Korean novel. I'm like, I gotta find this movie somehow. This sounds crazy. Do you guys have any other pop culture elements that you wanted to bring up?
I do want to jump in and just say something about that moment of that movie specifically. Every time I watch dramas, they're set in that time, like the 70s, 80s.
Yeah.
I am always now thinking about Aima, because I feel like film during that time, it's just like, it was, that blew my mind, like what film was during that time in Korea, because it just goes against everything I think about when I think about Korea. So that's a little side note for me. I did feel like I felt a little bit more knowledgeable about that, the kind of movie theater era in this drama because of Aima, which is weird because I watched that one. It was after When Life Gives You Tangerines. But then I think for me, a lot of the moments that I liked were all the drama references. So like with Stained Glass, they're like watching Stained Glass. Those are my
Were they
my
watching one
ones.
of the, I think it might have been Autumn in My Heart?
Autumn in My Heart.
Yes.
I was like, I'm eating those little cameo moments up. So those are my favorite pop reference moments. And I did like the music ones, but I feel like that was another missed element of this drama was like music. Like I feel like I did not what was the music in this drama?
The OST was
non-existent. Right? Non-existent. And I felt like that's another missed opportunity for sure.
Absolutely. There was a jump scare at episode 10 with the Bill Clinton clip.
I
do not have sexual relations with that woman. I was like, oh God.
Oh wow.
Not Clinton. Not
What
Epstein Files
in
Clinton.
time.
The Hwasong serial murders are happening in the background of episode 10, and it contributes to our female lead being really anxious for her daughter Kom Young, who's in the big city all alone.
Not herself.
There are music moments, like you said. H.O.T. is playing Sotaeji.
Yeah.
Playing. It's so great. The IMF crisis is happening in the late 90s. And
the Olympics.
The Olympics are happening.
FIFA, World Cup.
10 Minutes by Lee Hyori.
Hyori comes in.
Is playing in one of the last episodes. And I was like, oh, I need to listen to this again because I forgot how much I love this song.
I love it.
Lee Byung-eun is brought up because there is a production filming up the mountain. This is 2003's K-drama All In.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yes.
Starring Lee Byung-eun and Song Hye-kyo, and shorthand. Story is about one man's rise through the fiercely competitive world of casino gambling as he clashes with his rivals over money, success, and love. Sign me up.
Have you seen that show?
No, I've never seen it. No.
What?
Have you guys seen it?
Yes.
Perfect. So you would recommend it?
Yes.
Absolutely. Perfect.
Yes, absolutely.
A lot of stuff is happening. I think there was even a newspaper clipping, and it's Princess Diana.
Oh.
Yeah.
And I have to say, if this was not a Korean production and it was made somewhere in the West, there would be an entire episode on Princess Diana.
It would have.
And her death.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
That would have been a whole thing. Just like the Hwasong serial murders are like simmering in an episode.
Background. Yeah.
Diana would have been a whole thing.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I think the show did a really good job in taking those cultural moments and sprinkling them throughout the show so that you feel like you're growing with the show or you're seeing the characters grow. So yeah, I appreciated those. The Clinton one, I was about to pause and send you a voice memo because I was like, oh my God.
Don't do that. Did you guys want to talk about Kim Young's two romantic relationships in the show?
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, that first guy was trash. Like he
it was the mom. It was the mom.
The mom is sunk that battleship so bad. I have so many little notes on my reaction to her.
Didn't the actress pass away last year?
Did she? I think she might have.
The actress who played his mom, her first fiance,
Kang Myun-ju, she died. Yes.
Yeah.
February 27th of 2025.
Got me. Yes. That's what got me when I was watching her scene at the end. Her last scene when they're showing time passing her by and she's like aging, sitting on the couch. I got really emotional watching that because it was like, didn't she pass last year?
She passed away and she was so young, 53.
She was 53. And it got to me just watching her, the time passing her, like that character. I was like, it made me think about the actress herself. So I was just like, oh, this is sad too. I was like, I'm crying again. Just keep crying.
Carol, did you have thoughts on this first relationship?
I think the dad sort of, he definitely felt threatened or he felt jealous or annoyed by the first relationship. But there was a moment where the guy took a break from military, came to her dorm to come meet her, and he runs into her and he says something. And the dad is just like, oh my God, this kid is me. So I feel like the dad really thought that this guy was good for his daughter, especially when they were meeting the families and the guy's dad was like, give me scorched rice. And Kim Young stands, you see? IU. That's why you shouldn't do two roles.
Exactly.
But
you're just going to confuse all the girlies. Don't do
it. Exactly. Kim Young starts, ladling, using the ladle to take the rice, and the dad is giving the guy eyes like,
get
what
up.
Are you doing?
Yeah, like
get up.
I love that.
I loved it.
Nonverbal acting is my favorite.
Yeah. He was just trying to tell him to get up. And that was the difference between him and this kid, where this kid would not stand up in the same way that Gwan-sik did. He was just never going to get that from him.
Yeah.
I particularly loved that the mom did not give out the invitations because she's like, I raised my daughter better than this. I know. I'll give her the space to figure it out, but it's not going to be this guy. But when she does see Kim Sun-ho's character and he comes over for dinner and she's just giggling and smiling to herself, and she already knows him. This is the guy who carried my daughter to the hospital. Like, she already knew. And I loved that. She gave the space to Kim Young to figure it out.
I agree. I have notes on this family meeting that happened in episode 11 that just sent me up a wall. They're late and they don't apologize.
Yeah.
I was like, strike one. The voiceover from Aesun saying, it broke my heart to see that my daughter had turned out just like me.
Yeah.
We're shaking our head. And in the way that she means it, it's because she is, this new family, the in-laws, are demanding that she be self-sacrificing, subservient, neglectful of herself in giving to everyone else. It's all around food. Like, it's all revolving around how she's serving them or not serving them at this function. The fiance is just sitting there, not helping, not tempering anything that his mother is saying, especially now in front of her parents. And you're talking about the dad, Gwan-sik, giving him the nod to like get up and help her serve his family. That's not her family yet. There's a flashback to when Gwan-sik is at the table with the kids, his wife, and breaking this traditional hierarchical structure of the family unit and their places at the table, and how groundbreaking it really was, because this family's still backward. This family's still patriarchal.
Yep.
I love what Aeson says when she gets up to serve the scorched rice. She says, I couldn't bring myself to teach her. She's too precious. She's our darling girl. That's why I chose not to teach her. Referring to basic housework and cooking. She serves her daughter, Kumyoung, first.
Loved her.
After
Love
all
her.
that. Ugh.
But I want to pull out, I guess, in this, speaking of the first love, this guy that she liked, his mother also is presented in a similar fashion, as far as like she believes like his life is her life. And we talked about Aesun kind of doing something similar, obviously for Gomyo. So I thought that was interesting that they even followed that through with this mother character that we weren't supposed to like. They still kind of brought it back to, it's just kind of pitiful that a mother has to go through this process of feeling like her child's life is now her life. And if, she lives through her child. And I thought that was still good that they did that. Like, even though she was the villain mother character, she still had this element to her, was like, she's just a mother. And that's the problem. She has to become just a mother, that she's living for her son. So I really actually like that they did that with her character, despite it being one of the villain
yeah, she's so antagonistic and
she
foul.
is she's horrible, but I did like that. And she kind of has her moment of reckoning from both Aesun and Gomyoung, with they kind of say similar things to her, like, your son is embarrassed by you, and you're gonna regret this. You're speaking your mind. She's like, I need to speak my mind so I can, and speaking my mind lets me take a load off, or a boulder off of my chest. And she's like, where that boulder is gonna go, right? Aesun's like, it's gonna go on your child's heart. You wanting to speak your mind about my daughter is gonna just hurt your son in the end. And I was like, yikes. She called that one, because he was crying in the car at her wedding. So
oh my God, what a pansy. Well, get off my property. So I had very little sympathy for this guy. I thought he just wasn't going to cut it.
Yeah.
She says to him, or Kumyoung says to him, if I stay with you, my parents' heart will break. I can't do it.
Yeah. I loved that.
I love that. And I love the ultimatum she gave him earlier, where she's like telling him, I wanted to impress your mom so bad she hates me, basically.
Oh, yeah.
And she said, now you have to decide. Choose if you want to be a good husband or a good son. You can only be one. Please, I really don't want a man who needs to please everyone. Before you think about proposing, you must choose one or the other. And he still doesn't.
No. When she gets rushed to the emergency room, he runs. It's like, I choose you. And she's like, this isn't the time for that. But yeah,
simmer down.
Like, okay. Yeah, simmer down for sure.
In fact, he doesn't even understand, this guy, what she means necessarily, because he's like, who would choose between their wife or fiance or significant other and their parents, their mother? And she fires back, well, my father did.
Yeah.
Clock it.
Yeah.
Clock it.
All right, Carol, did you have something you wanted to add?
I loved the doctor in that scene where she was rolling her
messy
eyes. Get these people out of my room. I think she was played by Lee Bong-ryeon.
Yes.
In the hospital.
Yeah.
And she's just like, what am I watching here? What are we doing? Is this some kind of drama? Just get them out. I don't need this. She was eye rolling. I was like, that's me. It was funny.
I did also want to just jump in and bring up the breakup, because there's a moment when at the episode she's like, they've been breaking up for a year, and that just made me sick to my stomach.
Me too.
I hate everything about that sentence. What do you mean you've been breaking up for a year? Like, get out of my face. Like, end it. So when they had their little actual real ending, I really appreciated it, because I was like, it's due time. But I also I actually really liked the way that the conversation went, because one of my least favorite things is exes to lovers, like exes. Yeah. Lovers to exes to lovers again. I hate that. And so I like seeing when people are like, we actually really still love each other, but we're not good enough. We're not okay. We don't need to be together.
We're all the way off.
We're all the way off. It's okay to say no. We can still have love for each other. And I really like them being very mature about that. And be like, we have love for each other, but we can't be together.
Took them a year.
Took them a year.
They got there.
One thing that I want to add in the pop culture section that we've already gone over, I forgot to say that they watched Cinema Paradiso a couple of times in this show. And I adore Cinema Paradiso. Have you guys seen that movie? It's another ode to movie.
Yes.
That is an ode to films, movies, the way that they make you feel. And in a similar sense, like this show is an ode to a whole host of things. And I love that they bring up Cinema Paradiso as one of the best movies ever, like of all time. Really highly recommend watching it. If you're already watching subtitles, you might as well just watch Cinema Paradiso. It's an Italian film. And they really resonate with it because it's that good.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Kim So-no, I guess, and how he is another Gwan-sik 2.0 type of guy. There was a lot of things that he was doing for our girl, and she said, at one point she says, "You're just like my dad."
Yeah.
Yes.
She does.
And he's like, "You're like a Christmas tree."
That's my favorite quote. One of my favorite quotes. I love that, Carol. I love the Christmas tree moment. I eat stuff like that up. Like, he compared her to a Christmas tree because she sparkles. That's what he said, because she sparkles. Like, I love it. And he was like, it doesn't matter what room a Christmas tree is in, it's gonna always sparkle and warm your heart. And that's what Gum-young does. And I just like, that was his like confession, I think. His
what a good man, bro. Like,
yeah.
So when he finally catches up to her, because he runs after this bus for a couple of stops after he spots her at the theater, and he says, "Finally." And I'm like, that's already such a very forward, open thing to say to somebody that you haven't seen in years. It's like, oh my God, finally. I was running after this bus to catch up to you. He keeps staring at her in awe. He says he went to the theater every day in hopes that she'd be there, and says openly, "I missed you."
I just feel like he was very forward with his emotions. He was very forward with his intentions, and he couldn't just stop giggling. And
he was
just
absolutely
like
jazzed to be in her
Smitten.
presence.
Right?
Sparkles.
I loved when he let the misunderstanding just be there when his ex-girlfriend is like, "Oh, so this is the girl," and he doesn't say anything.
No,
He's
but
just
he sticks up for her. He sticks up for Gum-young in that situation, because the girl starts going off the deep end and dissing her. And he's like, "You better watch your mouth. She goes to SNU."
SNU. And then doesn't she say, like, her heart whistles at that moment? Like, oh my gosh. I was like, yeah, that's what we're calling it. Whistling. That's what we're calling it. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
He's so great. And then he painted her before he enlisted. He left this like elaborate painting of her in the basement of the theater. Are we serious? Then when they're finally together, I like her voiceover saying, "We're dating like adults. This is totally different than this 7-year relationship that I had with this guy that was my first love. This is totally different. Feels great." And they have a Titanic reference.
I was going to say that.
It's now 1997.
They do.
Yes. And she's doing the paint me like one of your French girls pose. He cannot keep it together. He's giggling. It's adorable.
And I think when they first met, like when he was the other girl's kind of on and off boyfriend, like when he's like walking her home all those nights, like there is a moment when he's quite quiet and dark, like he doesn't really talk or whatnot, and he's like this hair covering his face. He has this ugly.
Oh, he looks horrific.
He looks horrible. I didn't even know that was Kim So-ho. I was like, who is that? I was like, isn't he supposed to be in this drama? Where is he? And I'm like, oh, that was him.
Girl, yeah, it's the homeless guy, basically.
It's homeless, exactly. Yeah. I was like, who is that? But then, like, there is a point where she says something and he laughs, and she's like, oh, I didn't know you could smile. And then it was like the rest was history after that for him. I think he kept, and we're saying like he keeps giggling, like he keeps laughing.
He loves
keeps
her.
Smiling. He loves that
girl.
He
worships the ground she walks on.
And even like the finally quote when you brought up Jess, like he says too, like when he says finally, he's like, I think this is when they use that word. Like this is when you're supposed to use that word. It's like finally. And I was like, I love that. I mean, that was writing right there. I had to give that to the writer.
That's romance.
I love that. I love stuff like that.
And his mother is so good to her and so kind to her. And I think, Carol, you mentioned the persimmon pastries that his mom makes. Esun, and I think her letter says something like, "I adore your daughter more than words can say."
I was like, I love that. She's like, I adore her. And then Asen is like, that's what she was waiting for.
Yeah.
That's how she knew she's like, that's how I knew the person that my daughter picks is going to be the one, is when his parents or his mother says like, your daughter is amazing. I love her.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't I want her and be a part of my family? She's like, yeah, he's the one. He's the one.
I quite liked when he went home to meet the family and he's just following Gumyoung everywhere.
Puppy.
And the dad is like, why do you keep following? She's going to the bathroom. Where are you going? He's like, I have to protect her. I have to stand there.
To watch her.
Yeah, and watch her. And then she comes out of the washroom and he's like, yo, this is so hard. Like, your dad doesn't like me. And she's like, you think when I'm being all eggio to your mom, I actually like being that? You better step it up, sir.
She said, try harder.
Try harder. Yeah. Try harder. Yeah. And he goes in and he's like drunk and stumbling and then all of a sudden being aegyo for Gwan-sik. And Gwan-sik's like, what is wrong with you? But he starts to smile at him and we're like, oh yeah, the rest is history. They all love him.
Yeah.
This is good stuff.
At their wedding, Mama Esun finally gets to wear her pink hanbok.
I know.
Don't do that, Jess.
No, I had to bring it up.
The pink hanbok.
Oh, beautiful.
She looked beautiful in it.
I like that full circle shit. It's good.
And then the meme moment. I was waiting for the meme. I had, not watched this drama, but I enjoyed that meme that went viral, I feel like, on TikTok last year. What was the song? It was Supernatural by Ariana Grande, right? With him, and then like him, doing that thing. I was like, I want to see that scene. I was looking forward to that moment. It was quite understated considering. I was
it was not a big deal in the actual drama. Yeah. But I like her friends when they're like, is he just naturally cutesy like that? Or did you train him? She's like, nah, I trained him.
She loved him too.
Yeah.
Man.
She loved him bad.
I mean, I also really love the scene when she's giving birth to their daughter. And he's in the doctor's like, I don't know. The baby's not doing well. And she's like, you might need to sign a paper to prepare yourself. He's like, I choose her. I choose her. And he like cuts the nurses off. Like, I choose her. But then like the fact that he calls Asun and it's like, I love that.
I think she needs
moment.
you. She's calling for you.
She's calling for you. And he starts crying. Like, I think you need to come. Like, I love that moment. I was like, he's so precious. But I think Carol mentioned this earlier, like, but he's like gone at the very end of the drama. Like, I feel like we don't see him but that one more time when they're in the bedroom asking about the piano. And this is right before she takes them to get their health checkup, which leads to the end. But I was just like, he just kind of disappeared for me.
Yeah, they blitzed him.
Yeah. Don't know why.
I think it's because of his scandal and are people comfortable seeing him yet and sort of testing
he just
the
got
waters.
back, didn't he? Yeah, he had just gotten back with this one.
Yeah, it's a comeback drama for him for sure.
And I loved when the parents came to see her and they're just like, I only care about my daughter right now.
And they're
like, we'll see the baby. It's fine.
He's talking about his daughter. He's like, oh, she weighs this many pounds and this. And they're like, no, we're talking about our daughter. Is she healthy? Is she healthy? He's like, oh yeah, your daughter's healthy too.
Yeah, that was cute.
That was cute.
Anything else you guys want to add about when life gives? I mean, we can go on again for hours and hours. The final quote that I have from the show is the final voiceover, and it sort of wraps everything up, and I thought it was very nice. To my parents who were so young and always so tenderhearted all throughout the seasons, with remorse, gratitude, and the deepest respect, thanks for showing us what to do when life gives you tangerines.
Aw,
beautiful.
That's a great quote.
It is.
Oh, there are no shortage of great quotes in this show. It is very beautiful script, and I just want to thank you guys for basically coming to the end of this journey. And I don't think I want to go on this sojourn again, but it was a beautiful story. It was very touching. Where can people find you guys online?
You can find me on Instagram as Kdramas Musings with an S, and on TikTok as Kdrama Musings. Please don't eat me up for rating it 3.6. I changed my mind. I made it 4. Okay?
Yeah.
Thank you.
revision?
You can find me on Instagram at Lola Pops Off about K-Dramas. Also my podcast, listen wherever you listen to podcasts. And I do have a website, lolapopsoffaboutKdramas.com. I'm working on possibly maybe doing YouTube. So it's there. So you could see there's a start. So if you see something on YouTube, that is really me. But yeah, Lola Pops Off about K-Dramas.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for finishing When Life Gives You Tangerines. I know it was tough to finish, but it was a wonderful show, a lot to unpack, and I hope that you listeners out there really appreciate what we did, because we were drudging up all of these emotions for you guys to talk through. It was a little bit difficult, but I'm glad that we did it, and I'm glad that it's over. That's been our show. I'm Jessica, and this has been the Daebak K-Rambles Podcast.
This episode is brought to you by Redfin. You're listening to a podcast, which means you're probably multitasking. Maybe even scrolling home listings on Redfin, saving homes without expecting to get them. But Redfin isn't just built for endless browsing. It's built to help you find and own a home. With agents who close twice as many deals, when you find the one, you've got a real shot at getting it. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.